This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. Turning out to be a beautiful day out there. Happy Veterans Day to everybody who served and everybody who is defending America today. Think about that. There are men and women right now in harm's way. I know that our current vice president doesn't realize that, but she lost the election, I think, in part, certainly in this area, because of the remarks she made in the debate, which I played repeatedly here, with our own governor, Maura Healey. I would call her the accidental governor because the Republicans didn't run a strong candidate. Had we run a strong candidate, Maura Healey would not be the governor today. And I predict that the chairman of the Republican Party, Amy Carnevale, who's about to be our guest in a couple of minutes, will find a great candidate to run in just 2 years to help fix the state of Massachusetts. Now, the results of this election here in Massachusetts have to be nothing but encouraging to the Republican Party and to all red-blooded Americans out there. We're now joined by the chair of the Republican Party, Amy Carnevale. Good morning, Chairman Carnevale. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Amy, what a great job by Tom Hodgson and everybody else, including yourself, who was involved with the Trump-Vance campaign. Can you talk a little bit about what a tremendous movement, what a shift, and why you think that is here in Massachusetts?
Yeah, thanks very much. And first, also, I want to acknowledge Veterans Day and honor those people and their families who have served our country so honorably. But yes, turning to the election, what a great night, Tuesday night. It was a real teamwork effort with Sheriff Tom Hodgson and, of course, his wonderful wife, Joanne, who's extraordinarily talented, and State Committee man Bob McConnell, also in the area. We really worked like a team to turn out the vote for Donald Trump and Republican candidates up and down the ballot across Massachusetts, but especially down on the South Coast. And frankly, we saw the results. And we saw Republicans turn out in record numbers. We certainly have more progress to do, but we certainly made gains last Tuesday.
We're speaking with Amy Carnevale, who's the chair of the Republican Party here in Massachusetts. So, Amy, today people are riding high. A lot of people, it was their first campaign or their first successful campaign, right? So how do we take them and channel all this civic energy into some additional activities?
Yeah, good question. So we did see a lot of new voters come out on the Republican side, a lot of independents who I think felt disaffected by the Democratic Party and the policies that we're see coming out of Beacon Hill, whether it's the migrant policy or inflation that we're seeing here in Massachusetts. And so they came out and supported Donald Trump and other Republican candidates. And now it's our responsibility to kind of turn them into faithful Republican voters, and our eyes this week are really on 2026. And as you kind of led in, talking about Maura Healey, because until we replace Maura Healey as governor, we won't see the kind of change that we need here in Massachusetts that we need to see. So I'd encourage any of your listeners to contact their state committee member. If you don't know who that is, go to MassGOP.com. You can look it up and become part of the party, become active in recruiting local candidates. We do plan to run candidates and across the Commonwealth in 2026. It's traditionally a better year for Republicans to run and get elected. So we plan to build on the gains that we made this cycle in 2024 and be even more competitive in 2026. We'll have statewide candidates. Senator Markey will be up for re-election, and we certainly hope to be competitive in that race. We saw John Deaton as a first-time candidate get 40% of the vote. So we want to build on that and really target Senator Markey as well as Maura Healey as our governor.
We're speaking with Amy Carnevale. She's the chairperson of the Republican Party here in Massachusetts. We had a big pickup down here in Marion, Wareham, Rainham, Taunton. That is now Senator Dooner's district, well, Senator-elect Dooner, who is a city councilor from Taunton. Talk about that race, Amy.
Yeah, so, Kelly Dooner, as a city council member, she was elected at the local level, active with the Young Republican organizations. She just worked her heart out in door knocking. I was with her the final weekend knocking doors, and time and time again, every door we knocked in Taunton and the surrounding area, people came to the door worried about the immigration crisis. Mm-hmm. They've seen it in Taunton with the hotels that have been taken over, and it's affecting their quality of life without any solution from Beacon Hill. So that was a big win for not only for Kelly, but us as Republicans, and we need to build on that win. I was with her Tuesday night, too, before I made my way down to the South Coast to Sheriff Hodgson's celebration party. And again, Kelly just really worked her heart out on that race, and the results were evident.
Tom had a great party at White's of Westport for all the Trump campaign people on Tuesday. Place was absolutely mobbed.
It was. He just, he has been, again, he has just been terrific to work with, not only, leading up to Tuesday night. We opened two offices through using the MassGOP infrastructure to support the Trump campaign throughout Massachusetts. And Tom was instrumental in that effort. We worked together at the convention, and now we'll be working together headed into the inauguration, which would certainly be very fun. And we're going to work to try to ensure a best experience possible for any residents of Massachusetts who want to go down to Washington, D.C. to celebrate the victory.
Oh, speaking with Amy Carnevale again. Amy, listen, I appreciate you're always available, and I know you're always available for activists who want to get more involved in the party. Really, congratulations. You did a great job, and you came from really, I don't want to dwell on the past, but when I think about what you inherited into where you are today, fantastic job, my friend.
Thanks very much. Look forward to working with you. Thanks.
That's Amy Carnevale from the Republican State Committee. Again, just a real spitfire, really just fantastic. Professional, right? Professional political operative. And I think the party's in good hands. And again, there's a lot of opportunity for activists, young and old, who want to get involved. Some people, it's just cut a check. Other people, you grab a handful of literature and go out and meet your neighbors. I happen to love that aspect of the campaign. And the volunteers at the Trump headquarters, which is at the DeMello International Center, I don't think they want to give it up. I think they want to keep staying there because people are so proud of what America did on the last election, right? What America clearly delivered for themselves, right? On this Veterans Day, it's a great day to be alive, right? Great day to be alive. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. If you want to get involved, 508-996-05. Give me a call. We'll keep this going. Stick around. A great American veteran. In fact, my dad, when Elvis was coming home, my dad was going over to Germany. Both had complied with the draft and different time periods. But I remember my dad told me he replaced Elvis. So my father was the second coolest guy from America who ended up in Germany. 508-996-05. I know there's a lot of you in the audience who were deployed overseas. I'd love to hear from you. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
So you were the third coolest guy?
I never made it to Germany.
No, just being a cool guy, military.
Thank you.
Come on, Chris, catch up with the program. Hey, congratulations to you and Tom and all the supporters that supported what you guys did. And it worked out the way I mentioned you about a month ago. I thought Trump was going to do it, and the key reason, I believe, was the Kennedy factor. Robert going over to his side, that 4 or 5% that he would have brought. And a lot of people did a lot of good work.
And, I think Bobby Kennedy. I think Bobby Kennedy, as the first Kennedy really to get into the presidential election scene in decades, right? Obviously, since Uncle Ted. So I think that was a huge factor in allowing other people who maybe never looked at Trump before because they've had the propaganda pumped into their mind to maybe for a second catch a breath of fresh air, get blood flowing again to their brain, and realize, hey, Donald Trump is a legitimate option.
Yeah, for sure. And on Veterans Day, I'm a little sad this morning. I found out yesterday, I've been so busy, I didn't even know, the Fairhaven VFW closed yesterday.
Yeah, and they're going to sell it.
It's sad that it closed. My father was one of the original 50 charter members there.
Really?
My father was 22 years older than my mother. My father would be like 108 right now, 109. And when I heard it yesterday, I was at another place that's going to be folding on December 31st, and it's a social club. And And I was sitting with some veterans, and the tears in their eyes to like wow, just another veterans post going down, not getting the support they need and mismanagement, different things. But the fact that I couldn't even wait till tomorrow and get Veterans Day open. Every Memorial Day and Veterans Day, that place is packed. Oh, it used to be packed. Just a sad day for me.
No, it's a sad day for, and Phil, I appreciate that and appreciate the recognition of that. And again, I think there's someone over there who was instrumental has a medical issue, and more sympathetic I could not be. But we know that we really are running out of VFWs and American Legions. Now, there's still one in Freetown that's very active, and the folks over there are great Americans, Dan LeBlanc, Bruce Wilbur, and guys I know personally and who were in Vietnam. But American Legions are closing up. The one in Fairhaven is closed down. So it is, and again, as Phil just mentioned, a lot of other social clubs are closing up. We are truly bowling alone here in America. It's unfortunate. Now, today is the holidays. What does that mean? Carter's Clothing and Footwear, both the New Bedford and Fall River location, are open extra hours today, okay? They have extended hours on all holidays. So it's a beautiful day out there. When you go to Carter's Clothing and Footwear, what does make it so easy about shopping there? Well, they have extended hours on holidays, meaning today. But also they have free parking, so you don't have to scramble looking for a spot at the mall. Just pull right up whether you're going to downtown New Bedford, 55 William Street. That's their parking lot right there. Pull right in, go right into the store. There's always fully staffed with helpful, really knowledgeable customer service people. Or if you're heading over to Fall River, 288 Plymouth Avenue in Fall River. Again, that's a beautiful store as well, and they have free parking there. Same really knowledgeable, helpful staff. Either locations, you might even find one of the owners. I know when I go in New Bedford, I often find Kevin Carter there. So Carter's Clothing and Footwear. It's a place you can trust. You can trust them for generations. They've been in business now for 77 years. In fact, I was looking at their website over the weekend, making my Christmas list for Natalie. So there's a lot of great stuff at Carter's Clothing and Footwear. If you haven't checked out their website, check it out and go to the store. Check. Now, here's the thing about New Bedford store, which I love. They've got some great, unique New Bedford gear that's really only available at Carter's Clothing and Footwear. So, like, if you have a friend who's not in the area anymore or a relative who grew up here, get them a nice New Bedford-centric sweatshirt or hat or something at Carter's Clothing and Footwear. You got to go there to appreciate what they have, and send it out. The other thing that I know, like for instance, Scott Lang and his wife, they use gift certificates from Carter's Clothing and Footwear. You know, when you buy a gift certificate from Carter's, you know they're going to be in business next year because they've been in business for 77 years. Carter's Clothing and Footwear, clothing for the South Coast, your South Coast style, work and casual clothing at a store you can trust. Go down, check it out in New Bedford and Fall River. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. Welcome to my world. I'm Chris McCarthy, and I appreciate you listening to me today on Veterans Day or any of the other days of the week that I'm here. 508-996-0500 so I can get on the program. We can't make this program possible without the great American sponsors that I have. Mac Auto Sales. Boy, they've been with me a long time, and I really trust Mac Auto Sales. 188 Rivet Street in the city of New Bedford. They repair all makes and models. So if you need to get your car ready for the coming cold weather, and I'm sure you do, head over to Mac Auto Sales. Give them a call, 508-565-6221. You know, there's no better way to beat the Biden inflation than to keep your car running and in good working order, right? They're open weekdays, 9 to 5 for your convenience. Now, if you have a foreign car that needs servicing, head over to Mac Auto Sales because they specialize in foreign automobiles. Now, if it's time for a new-to-you automobile, if you want to beat inflation, head over to Mac Auto Sales and check out the quality used cars that they have for sale at Mac Auto Sales. Tell them Chris McCarthy sent you. So, I was telling you at the beginning of the program that the reason we have veterans is because we have a lot of primarily men, but now more and more women who have the courage, the love of country to step up and put themselves in the hands of our elected leaders to do with them what they need to do. And it's generally a failure of elected leaders in America that we have veterans to this day, right? It is policy failures. So when I look at the way 9/11 transpired, that is the terrorist attacks, the terrorists left by domestic airplane out of Logan Airport. They had come into the country, overstayed their visas, and became terrorists, and hijacked planes from Logan Airport in Massachusetts and flew on a one-way trip to Manhattan, right? And to the Pentagon. They left out of Massachusetts. So now we have a governor who's going to attempt to obstruct our president, Donald Trump, from curing the American immigration system and rounding up the terrorists and other bad actors that have made their way into the country because Biden was asleep at the switch, right? But locally, we have city councilors that are not only asleep at the switch, but actively working to fund illegal aliens. So I'm going to play a little bit of that article again from the New Bedford Light. Hardly a publication of the vast right-wing conspiracy, right? So this is the New Bedford Light reporting on what some of the local illegal alien activists are doing with your tax dollars. So this is from the New Bedford Light. The article is available right now at newbedfordlight.org. I'm going to play the audio version right now.
Bedford Brace for Trump by Eleonora Bianchi. New Bedford, the immigrant community in New Bedford woke up to election results that they saw as a shock and a disaster. But by the day's end, advocates had already reignited emergency plans that could keep families together, protect New Bedford's economy, and enshrine residents' human rights. I was totally in shock when I woke up this morning, said Helena De Silva Hughes, director of the Immigrants Assistance Center, IAC. I thought, there's just no way we're going back, she said. We've lived through dark days before, said Corin Williams, executive director of New Bedford's Community Economic Development Center. She cited the 2007 raid at the Michael Bianco plant in New Bedford that was one of the largest ICE operations in U.S. history, but added, this community is resilient. The dread of deportations has only deepened in recent months, said De Silva Hughes, fueled by Trump's rhetoric and confirmed this morning by his national press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, who stated on Fox News that the president would begin his term by launching the largest.
I just want to recognize that Caroline Leavitt recently was awarded Employee of the Week, maybe even Employee of the Month by the Howie Carr Show. Howie Carr, a leader of the vast right-wing conspiracy who's heard here at 3 o'clock every weekday, right? Even stole our Taylor Cormier, but talent finds its best return. So Taylor is up there at the Howie Carr Show now. But Howie Carr recently, at the election of Donald Trump, made his former employee, Caroline Leavitt, who's with the Trump campaign now, employee of, I think it was the month, maybe even employee of the year. I'm not sure where her parking space is when she's in town, but I hope it's right next to our leader, Howie Carr, right? So we'll go back to the article. But again, I just want to point out that Helen De Silva, right, is an immigrant to the country. She came here legally. If you read that entire article, the New Bedford Light, and I encourage you to do that, it gets into her immigration status later in the article. Just remember, by the fact that she wasn't born in the country, unlike Donald Trump, she's not even qualified to be president. So how dare she go to war with the duly elected president of the United States on his policies when, quite frankly, legally she's barred from being the president of the United States? Think about that for a second. She was allowed to come into the country, and now she's waging war, although she's completely barred by the Constitution from even being the president, even running for president. Think about that for a second, right? And she's going to take your tax dollars and wage war against our elected officials. We got some people on hold here. Good morning. Thank you for holding.
Good morning, Chris.
Hello, my friend. How are you? How are things at Acushnet?
We're not in Acushnet. We're in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. You didn't move your status, did you?
No.
Oh, good.
Just, did you like the vote in Acushnet?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. What did you think of it? You're the mayor of Acushnet.
I thought it was wonderful. I was very happy with it.
Where do we go from here?
I don't know. Going to take it day by day, and I hope people have a lot of patience. I think he's going to do a good job, but we got to wait and see.
I think he's going to do a good job, but it's going to be up to us to back him up, right?
Yeah, the thing I'm most concerned about are the migrants. I cannot stand that.
What do you think?
They stopped giving them debit cards in New York. I read that this morning.
That means there'll be more shoplifting. Isn't that amazing, right?
Yeah.
But they imported these people and they have no plan for them.
No. Anyway, the real reason I called you is we went to a show last night in St. Pete. The name of the guy was Matt Stone.
Matt Stone.
Because I know you love Elvis.
I do.
It was an Elvis impersonator. Oh, my God. 20-year-old kid. You should have seen him. He was wonderful.
Wasn't he Matt Stone?
Yeah.
Elvis impersonator.
Oh, my God. He was wonderful.
Is he skinny Elvis or is he bloated Elvis?
A skinny Elvis.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And it was at the biggest, it's an OCC. It's called the Motorcycle Dealership, I guess it is. And it's the biggest one around.
CC Rada?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's an Elvis song. That's great. You know what I love best of all? Is that finally Pete Cazzara has a city named after him.
He does?
St. Pete.
Oh, yeah, St. Pete. Right, you're right. Yeah, right. I didn't even think of that.
You take care of that Saint, Don. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Pete Cazzara, of course, a longtime selectman over there in Acushnet, great American, and his wife, Dot Cazzara, right? Great people. And again, I think all of us, if you love America, then you have to hope the president does a good job. I don't think it's being a good American to immediately say, we're going to go to war, right? Now, again, if you live in the city of New Bedford, you should be very concerned with where your tax dollars are going, particularly if you live in Ward 2. Now, I want to tell you, Leo Choquette, Ward 1 City Councilor, he's been on the ball with the Capitol Theater project. He voted no at his first opportunity. Same with Sean Oliver. He voted no at his first opportunity. Now, some of the other city councilors, again, they, I believe, were misinformed, okay? They were misinformed by their colleague, Maria Giesta. So don't blame Brian Gomes and Ian Abreu for going along because, that's how it works in politics. You expect your colleagues aren't going to lie to you that they're really building a fortress to protect illegal aliens. But listen to the rest of this article. Again, it's not my creation. This is from the New Bedford Light. What I want you to pay attention to is what Corinne Williams, who is the one getting all the money for the Capitol Theater, what she's doing with that money.
Mass deportation operation of illegal immigrants. Now, De Silva Hughes believes the IAC finds itself once again needing to act decisively on behalf of the immigrant community. I feel we have no choice but to start the Emergency Family Preparedness Program again, she said. In 2016, the center increased its capacity to support families facing deportation and launched an emergency preparedness program to help them plan for arrests by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. The program guided immigrant families in setting up a document safekeeping box and designating custodial guardians to care for their children until they could be reunited. In the coming months, the IAC will again develop a plan to prepare the community for January, when President-elect Trump will officially begin his term. De Silva Hughes intends to hold meetings with families at local churches and elementary schools, safe spaces where immigrant families can gather, share their concerns, and discuss the way forward. Williams, of the Community Economic Development Center, said her work providing legal aid to immigrants will continue. She added that many community and immigrant groups will depend on protections from the state. And on Wednesday afternoon, Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll held a press conference to affirm their commitments. "We will always stand up for people's rights and freedoms," Healey said, "wherever you were born and whomever you love." Support for Trump includes Hispanic and Latino voters. The Community Economic Development Center sits in New Bedford's Ward 2, within the former rectory beside the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church. The building buzzes constantly with multiple languages as new community members access services and make New Bedford their home. "This neighborhood is the gateway of the gateway," said Williams on Wednesday, referencing that many new arrivals make Ward 2 their home. But Ward 2 voted for Trump 51% to 49%, according to preliminary results. And the Hispanic and Latino community in Massachusetts increased their support for Trump, now reaching 42%, compared to 35% in 2020, according to exit polls from the Associated Press. But Williams said those results are hard to parse. "The Hispanic and Latino community is not a monolith," she said. Brian Pastore, the center's deputy director, added, "The concept of Hispanic is fraught to begin with. It basically means you speak Spanish and not much else." Pastore and Williams said that national origin, income and education levels, religious background, and language ability are totally different within the Hispanic and Latino community. Increasing support for Trump does not signify that his policies make sense for new immigrants in New Bedford. And both Williams and Pastore said that Ward 2 has notoriously low turnout in elections and that high numbers of unregistered people, including undocumented immigrants, live there. In this election, Wards 2 and 6 had the lowest vote totals across New Bedford, and both are centers of the immigrant community. Williams said the victory for Trump in the ward doesn't mean most people here support him.
So you understand, right? That's Corinne Williams saying most people here. Now, that's very accurate of the New Bedford Light. I'm sure they quoted her exactly. Here's the thing. Most voters, most American citizens, taxpayers in Ward 2 support government by Donald Trump, okay? Now, who is Corinne Williams to decide that she's not going to go along with the election results, right? And here's the thing. I know that counselors like Ian Abreu, Brian Gomes, they are loyal Americans. I know they're going to join, I believe, I hope anyway, with a little bit of encouragement from us, that they're going to join with Sean Oliver and Leo Choquette to no longer fund this, what Leo Choquette said is a clubhouse, okay? I'm going to go back now and play the discussion of the Capitol Theater project from last year's City Council hearing on the community preservation funds, right? That's the extra tax that you pay on your real estate that Linda Morad tried to get rid of a few years ago, and I think you can count on Linda to likely not vote, no matter what pressure Maria Giesta puts her under, for the Capitol Theater project. Let's listen to Leo Choquette describing the Capitol Theater project.
Chair recognizes Councilor Choquette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, good evening, Jan, and good evening, Jessica. How you doing? So I'm the newest guy here, and this kind of fell into my lap, and I was looking at the numbers, and I mean, $11 million for 6 low-income apartments and a storefront and a CEDC clubhouse. It seems like a kind of an awful lot of money there. So my question here is, what specific advancements have been made with the initial monies that have been given? Because it looks the same to me. I drive by there all the time, coming back from downtown after we have meetings at City Hall. And I guess I would like your opinion on, what stage is this project actually in on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, they haven't even broken ground, and 10 being completed. And thank you.
Jan, do you want me to answer that, or do you want to?
Now, these are mayor's appointees. People are appointed by Mayor Mitchell. Listen to this.
That I know the price tags seem very high, but historic preservation is some of the most expensive
and you're paying for
projects
it
to do, like even 117
The taxpayers
Union
are
Street,
paying for
that's
it.
the new
Listen to this.
construction that's down on
Who's going to be in
Union
those
Street,
apartments? Illegal aliens, you know that.
17 million. It's just expensive to build or to rehab currently used property. I mean,
How many units is the one going in for 17 million? Do you know?
that one's a lot more. It's 40 something units. So it's
40 for 17 and
but it still has a
11
lot
for
of
6. And, well,
it has a lot of commercial space, and I would say with the CEDC, they are leveraging funding from other places. Like they've gotten money from the Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development, plus ARPA funding, plus
ARPA funding,
probably some CDBG funding, plus have they gotten historic tax credits?
Brownfields, historic tax credits, underutilized properties, Mass and federal historic, TDI district money, collaborative workspace money, CPA money, ARPA money. They also are going to hold their own mortgage. And it is a 21,000 square foot building that they are rehabbing.
All for illegal aliens.
So the cost is there. I mean, it does include the increase because of historic preservation. I'm sure you're aware of the work that the CEDC does in our community. It's their offices. It's not a clubhouse. I'm sorry if I misspoke earlier. It's a community kitchen that the community will be able to use. There'll be classroom space as well as their office space. They do a lot of work with the Mayan and Guatemalan community in the North End, and they'll continue to do that work. I'm sure if you're sure that if you know that their offices was part of that Acushnet Avenue fire. Was it 2 years ago now? And they've been working out of temporary offices since then. And in spite of having lost their main offices, they have still continued to shepherd this project forward. And Councillor Oliver, I did see, yes, it was a $7.3 million budget. It has increased by that $4 million. I can always look into that for you if you'd like a more firm answer as to what the costs were, because I'm not doing a quick comparison. But I will tell you that there is a lot of other money coming into this project other than the 1 million that comes out of CPA. So they have done a lot to bring in other leveraged funding, which is what the CPC looks for, especially in projects of this size, that there's leveraged money coming in, because that's bringing money, federal and state money, into the city that might otherwise not come here for projects. So,
and Jessica, I appreciate your candor, obviously, but with all these sources of money coming in, why is it that we still don't really see anything done on the outside? That's my concern.
Because, as I said, they are working on the abatement, and they are working.
So that is a appointee of the mayor, okay, who is lobbying hardcore for funding for the CEC, right? Corinne Williams Group, that are going to use that place as a fortress, I think, for legal battles against the Trump administration, who just overwhelmingly were elected, not just by the people of America, but by the people of Ward 2 and Ward 1. So the idea that unelected illegal alien lobbyists are going to wage war against the voters, the taxpayers of the city of New Bedford, the amount of ARPA money, it's millions of dollars, and taxpayer money, property tax money that came in, right, to the CPC, is being given to the illegal alien lobby. It's amazing, folks. It is amazing. Now, you can stop it. You can stop it by reaching out to Councilors Morad, Gomes. Reach out to Councilor Leo Choquette and congratulate him. Say, thank you, Leo. Thank you. I don't know how Leo got onto the CPC so quickly, but he was on it right away. And congratulations, Leo, and congratulations, Sean Oliver. Again, he was around the year before, but he hadn't really voted on. He voted on it, but it was brand new, right? Filling out Hugh Dunn's term. So when Sean Oliver got some daylight between him and the election and took a cold look at it, he voted to reject and questioned for his colleagues the funding of the Capitol Theater project, which is now going to be a fortress for the war against the Trump policies. So I think it's great that you got some city councilors that were paying attention, and it's good that I think some other councilors will reverse themselves. Nothing wrong with that, with making a new decision based on new information. Again, we're listening to an article from the New Bedford Light, fine publication, and I appreciate all the great work that they do over at the New Bedford Light. NewBedfordLight.org. That's where I'm getting this article from. If you want to listen to the audio version or get the online version, go to NewBedfordLight.org. We can take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. Of course, that's Elvis Presley here on Veterans Day. Elvis Presley was a veteran. In fact, my father replaced Elvis Presley in Germany in 1960, I guess it was, that Elvis came home. My dad went over. He was drafted. And after my dad got out of college, he was drafted. And he complied with the draft. He didn't want to, but that's what he did. And he went overseas, went to Germany, and spent 2 years there and actually learned to speak German. And really told me it was a great time in his life. And what inspired me to go enlist. And he didn't really want me to, I'd be honest with you. He really didn't. And my mom didn't want me to either, but I just felt it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad I did. Anyway, 508-996-0500. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
What's happening, Nick?
Yeah, much. Just did the Veterans Day parade over there in Fairhaven.
Oh, nice. How was it?
Very good. You know that... My boy's in the Cub Scouts, so we had to carry the flag down the road this year.
You got the privilege to carry that flag.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that flag is huge, let me tell you that. Huge. I heard you talking about Marina De Silva Hughes or something like that.
Yeah, she runs the Immigrant Assistance Center.
Yeah. It reminds me of a picture I see on the wall where the Cub Scouts go. It's if you look at it, the first time you look at it, it doesn't really make an impression on you. But you look closely, the picture is of a freight train car from maybe the 30s, something like that. And the door is open, and you look inside, and you see a bunch of it's packed full of people, and all the faces inside, they are very nervous about getting out of the train car. And if you look in the middle of that group of people, there's a nun. You can tell she's a nun because she's wearing her habit.
Okay.
And she has a look of fate being delivered upon her on her face. What it was, after I looked at it for a while, it's a freight car delivering Jewish people to the concentration camps in Auschwitz or something like that.
Good Lord.
And the nun, rather than leave her people or in consolidation with the people, said, I will not leave them and let them go to their fate in Auschwitz alone. I will go with them. And I think that if we have all these immigrants being arrested and deported, that Maria De Silva Hughes, or whatever her name is, if she's really with her people, then she will go with them and minister to them when they're down there in South America, wherever they're going to go.
Well, thanks for the call, my friend. The fact is that there's a lot of people making a lot of money off these illegal aliens, okay? There are a lot of people making money, quite frankly, off our tax dollars, all right? Think about this for a second. We are funding both sides of the war. It's kind of ridiculous, right? That the New Bedford taxpayers are funding the campaign to battle the federal government. And they're doing that because their elected representatives have sold them out, okay? For whatever reason. Now, you've got two good Americans, great Americans, really, Sean Oliver and Leo Choquette. They have been leading the bandwagon, right? Trying to lead the band in opposition to what is a clubhouse for illegal aliens, as Leo said. So hopefully Ian Abreu will join Sean Oliver and Leo Choquette. Hopefully Brian Gomes will join them as well and saying, no, I'm not going to do to my community what was done previously. I'm going to stand up for the taxpayers, stand up for America, and I'm not going to fund the opposition. Certainly not when the voters of even Ward 2 have said no. Ward 1 said no. That's big Trump country up there, right? And if you're looking to go higher, you're going to need Acushnet, you're going to need Freetown, you're going to need Fairhaven, you're going to need a lot of areas, Dartmouth, you're going to need these areas. If you want to make it in the legislature, you're going to need the suburbs. If you're a city councilor and you're looking to go up, you're going to need to get bigger, right? And illegal aliens can't vote for you. They can't vote for you. And by the way, they ain't going to be here next year anyway. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out. Bad policies, folks, like the ones that are being enacted by the city council, at least when it comes to funding Capitol Theater, which, by the way, I'm going to take a little credit here. I spotlighted the problems with the Capitol Theater a long time ago and brought it to the attention of the city council. Now, there was only 2 of them listening. I suspect that next year there'll be a lot more of them listening to me, okay? Even though I don't vote in New Bedford, I got a lot of people that do, right? I've got a lot of people that do agree with me, and I agree with them, right? I didn't just start taking this position. I'm an American firster. I have been since I came out of my mother's womb in St. Luke's Hospital 53 years ago. America first. America first. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
What's happening?
Just quickly on this, not much. I know it's the end of the show, but you know what bothers me the most is as much as I agree with you, man, I have to tell you, you know this as well as I do. This is a very vindictive governor, and if you stop, and when they bend and go against her will, I mean, you better make sure better make sure to back your counselors and any representative that sticks up for you, because you're going to need to be there, because this woman is vindictive and she's not going to take it idly. That's the thing that in all my years, I think this is the most vindictive governor we've ever had.
Does it surprise you, Steve?
No, and it's not so much because she's a hard lefty. There's been plenty of governors who are a hard left. Let's face it, Dukakis was hard left. Was nothing like this woman. This woman is mean and vindictive, and you could just see it. And I know you know people too, Chris. I know plenty of Democrats. I know legislative aides who work with Democrats, and I would never tell them their names. This woman is hardcore mean. You're with her or you're against her, and if you're on the outside, you're done. You know Freetown, right? I'll end with this quickly, Chris, because I know we both love Freetown. Right. Freetown, when they had that vote not to put in that housing for the railroad, and they voted against it for those 427 units, she was going to come down hard on them. But the town was so united, because she wanted another vote. The town was so united in that vote that they said, "Yeah, you guys don't need another vote because it's not going to change."
Steve, I appreciate it for the call. It's a great call to end the program on. Again, elected officials have to pay attention to what their constituents are telling them. And it's an entirely different message than they were getting even 4 years ago. So you got to adapt and overcome, adjust to be an elected official. You got to adjust, right? Nothing wrong with adjusting. No shame in saying what is ain't, right? It's no more. I'm not giving any more money to the legal aliens. But the manger, the inn is closed, right? So anyway, folks, stick around for